Welcome back to my channel, drama lovers. If you're hooked on jaw-dropping tales of betrayal, revenge, and redemption, you're in the right place. Today we're diving into an epic saga straight from the heart of Cedar Hollow, Iowa, a small town rocked by secrets. Meet Ryan Mitchell, a devoted dad and engineer, blindsided by his wife Vanessa's cheating affair and a $130,000 theft that shattered his world. This cheating wife story unfolds with DNA bombshells, a gala showdown that left mouths hanging, and a family fighting to rise from the ashes. From cunning traps to heartfelt triumphs, Ryan's journey is the ultimate cheating revenge story packed with Reddit family drama vibes you won't want to miss. So, grab your popcorn, hit that like button, and subscribe with the bell to join our drama squad. Let's jump into this roller coaster of an infidelity story. Trust me, you're not ready for these twists. Here we go. In the quiet town of Cedar Hollow, Montana, where golden fields stretched under endless skies and the annual autumn jubilee drew every neighbor to the town square, Ryan Mitchell believed his 16-year marriage was a cornerstone of his life. At 42, the former Marine turned structural engineer carried a steady strength, his calloused hands shaping the bridges that linked Cedar Hollow to the world. His wife, Vanessa, a 39-year-old librarian with a smile that charmed the local book club, was his anchor. Their two children, Ellie, 13, with her father's stubborn streak, and Noah, 10, always sketching blueprints like Ryan, filled their modest ranch-style home on Aspen Lane with laughter. Ryan's life revolved around early mornings at construction sites, evening barbecues with neighbors, and tucking his kids into bed with stories of his Marine days. Vanessa's warm hugs and teasing jabs about his workaholic ways were the heartbeat of his world, a rhythm he never doubted. That certainty crumbled on a chilly September evening during the autumn jubilee, where Cedar Hollow's residents gathered for cider, hay rides, and live music under twinkling lights. Ryan had wrapped up a site visit early, deciding to join Vanessa at the fair instead of heading home. He parked his pickup near the square, grabbed a thermos of Vanessa's favorite spiced latte from the local diner, and weaved through the crowd, his flannel jacket brushing past familiar faces. The air buzzed with fiddle music and children's laughter, but a knot formed in Ryan's gut as he spotted Vanessa near the bonfire, her phone pressed to her ear, her posture secretive. He slowed, instinct urging caution, and ducked behind a hay bale display, close enough to hear but hidden by the shadows. "He's such a fool, Karen," Vanessa said, her voice sharp with mockery. "Ryan thinks Ellie and Noah are his, 16 years, and he's still clueless. Derek and I joke about it constantly. Those kids are his, always have been." The words slashed through Ryan like shrapnel. His thermos slipped, splashing latte onto his boots, but he didn't move, his breath shallow, his heart a jagged wound. Vanessa's laughter cut deeper as she continued, unaware of the devastation mere feet away. "Look at Noah's jawline, pure Derek. Ryan's too busy building bridges to see it. No remorse here, he's a walking paycheck, nothing more. Derek's my soulmate, always has been." Ryan's vision swam, memories of their life. Vanessa's vows in the town chapel, Ellie's first bike ride, Noah's crayon drawings, dissolving into a lie. The fair's lights blurred, the music a distant hum, as rage and grief coiled in his chest, so fierce he feared it might consume him. He wanted to storm over, demand answers, but his Marine training kicked in. Stay calm, assess, act later. He retreated silently, his boots crunching leaves, and leaned against his truck, the cold metal grounding him. Vanessa's voice echoed, "Fool, clueless, paycheck." Each word was a betrayal, not just of their marriage, but of the family he'd poured his soul into. When Vanessa found him later, her face lit up with a practiced smile. "Ryan, you made it," she exclaimed, looping her arm through his. "Having fun?" He forced a nod, his jaw tight, and handed her the half-empty thermos. "Got your latte," he said, voice steady despite the storm inside. She teased him about the spill, oblivious to the shift in his eyes, a flicker of resolve replacing the trust she'd exploited. That night, as Vanessa hummed in their bedroom, Ryan stood in the garage, staring at a photo of Ellie and Noah taped to his toolbox. The man who'd built bridges for a living now faced a chasm in his heart. But he wasn't broken. He was ignited, ready to dismantle the lie Vanessa thought she'd perfected. The revelation of Vanessa's betrayal at Cedar Hollow. Autumn Jubilee left Ryan Mitchell's world in ruins, but the former Marine refused to let it show. The 42-year-old engineer woke the next morning with a hollow ache where his heart once beat. The words "fool" and "clueless" branded into his mind like a curse. His modest home on Aspen Lane, once a sanctuary filled with Ellie's piano practice and Noah's crayon blueprints, now felt like a stage for a cruel charade. Ryan stood in the bathroom, staring at his reflection. Graying temples, a scar above his brow from a Marine tour, eyes that no longer recognized the man looking back. He wanted to scream, to shatter the mirror, to confront Vanessa and demand why she'd woven 16 years of lies. But his training kicked in. Control the chaos, channel the pain, strike when ready. He splashed cold water on his face, set his jaw, and vowed to play her game better than she ever could. Vanessa, oblivious to the fault line she'd triggered, breezed through the morning with her usual charm. She hummed while brewing coffee, kissed Ryan's cheek, and chattered about the Jubilee's success, as if her words the night before hadn't gutted their marriage. "You were so sweet bringing that latte," she said, her smile a blade twisting in his gut. "We should go again tonight." Ryan forced a grin, his voice steady despite the rage coiling inside. "Maybe," he replied, watching her sip from her world's best wife mug, its irony a silent accusation. Every gesture, her casual touch, her laugh, felt like a performance, and Ryan was now her audience, studying the actress who'd played him for a fool. He drove Ellie and Noah to school, their chatter about the fair a bittersweet sting. "Dad, you okay?" Ellie asked, her hazel eyes searching his. He nodded, ruffling her hair. "Just tired, kiddo," he lied, the word "dad" now a wound he couldn't name. At work, Ryan's construction site was prepping a bridge over Willow River, but his mind was elsewhere, replaying Vanessa's confession. "Those kids are Derek's." Derek Sullivan, the architect Ryan had pulled from obscurity 10 years ago, who'd shared beers at their barbecues and coached Noah's soccer team. The betrayal wasn't just Vanessa's, it was a double stab, Derek's friendship a lie as deep as their marriage. Ryan's hands shook as he gripped a blueprint, the lines blurring into memories of Derek's grins, Vanessa's glances, and Noah's jawline, now unmistakably his. He left the site early, claiming a headache, and drove to a quiet diner on the edge of town. There, in a corner booth, he opened his laptop and searched discrete paternity testing. His voice was steady as he called a lab in Missoula, arranging for a DNA kit to be mailed to a P.O. box under a friend's name. He then contacted a private investigator, a gruff ex-cop named Hank Walsh, who'd helped with a site theft case. "I need to know everything about my wife's life," Ryan said, his tone cold. "Start with Derek Sullivan. No one can know." Back home, Ryan slipped into a role he'd never imagined, the devoted husband hiding a vendetta. He brought Vanessa her favorite daisies from the market, laughed at her stories about library patrons, and even suggested a family hike that weekend. Vanessa ate it up, her confidence unshaken. "You're so good to me lately," she cooed, brushing his arm, unaware that every touch fueled his resolve. That night, as she slept beside him, Ryan overheard her whispering on the phone in the garage, her laughter sharp as she told Derek, "He's wrapped around my finger. By the time he suspects anything, I'll have everything." Ryan's fists clenched, but he stayed still, his Marine discipline a steel cage around his fury. He began watching her every move, her quick glances at her phone, her errands that took too long, her smug smiles at neighborhood potlucks, where Cedar Hollow's residents saw her as the perfect wife. The pain was relentless, a tide that threatened to drown him. At night, Ryan stood in Ellie and Noah's rooms, watching them sleep, their faces a mix of love and loss. Were they his? Biologically, no, but every scraped knee he'd bandaged, every bedtime story he'd read, screamed otherwise. He couldn't lose them, but he couldn't live in Vanessa's lie. In his workshop, surrounded by tools and half-built furniture, Ryan stared at a photo of the four of them at last year's Jubilee, Vanessa's arm around his waist. He traced her smile, searching for the woman he'd loved, but found only a stranger. The DNA kit arrived 2 days later, hidden in his toolbox. Late that night, he crept into the kids' rooms, collecting hair strands from their brushes with trembling hands, each strand a question he dreaded answering. He sealed the samples, mailed them, and waited, each day a battle to wear the mask of a man unbroken. Vanessa's arrogance grew. She dropped Derek's name casually, planned a book club that reeked of deceit, and laughed too loudly at Ryan's clueless ways. But Ryan was no fool now. He was a shadow, watching, waiting, his pain forging a plan to burn her world to ash. Ryan Mitchell's world, already fractured by Vanessa's betrayal at Cedar Hollow's autumn jubilee and his masked pain, now demanded answers, and he pursued them with the precision of a Marine on a mission. The 42-year-old engineer, whose life once revolved around building bridges and tucking Ellie and Noah into bed, now navigated a minefield of lies, his heart a battlefield of love and rage. The DNA kit he'd sent to a Missoula lab loomed like a guillotine, its results due any day, but Ryan couldn't wait passively. He needed to know the depth of Vanessa E.'s deceit and Derek Sullivan's role in it, the man he'd once called a brother, now a traitor stealing his family. At his construction office, surrounded by blueprints of the Willow River Bridge, Ryan's hands trembled as he dialed Hank Walsh, the private investigator. Dig into Vanessa's routines, her finances, her ties to Derek, he instructed, voice low. I want everything. Where they go, what they spend, who they talk to. Hank's gruff reply was a lifeline. Give me a week, Mitchell. You'll have your truth. Vanessa, meanwhile, strutted through Cedar Hollow with infuriating confidence, her librarian charm masking a venom Ryan now saw clearly. She hosted a book club at their Aspen Lane home, laughing too loudly with neighbors, dropping Derek's name as if he were a saint. Derek's helping with the library fundraiser, she gushed to a friend over coffee at the town diner, unaware Ryan was at the counter, pretending to read a site report. Her words, he's so reliable unlike some people, cut like a blade, aimed at Ryan's workaholic reputation. He gripped his mug, knuckles white, but kept his mask intact, nodding at a passing neighbor who called Vanessa the heart of Cedar Hollow. The town's adoration of her, built on potlucks and her perfect mom facade, only deepened Ryan's isolation, a man drowning in plain sight. That evening, Vanessa wore a necklace Ryan didn't recognize, a silver locket engraved with a D. When Ellie asked about it, Vanessa laughed it off. Just a gift from a friend, she said, her eyes flicking to Ryan, daring him to react. He smiled, but inside, his resolve hardened. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a taunt. The DNA results arrived on a gray Tuesday, delivered to Ryan's P.O. box in a plain envelope that burned his hands as he opened it. In his truck parked outside the post office, he read the words, probability of paternity, 0% for both Ellie and Noah. The air left his lungs, the cab closing in, as 16 years of fatherhood dissolved into a single, brutal truth. Ellie's stubborn streak, Noah's blueprint sketches, none carried his blood. Only Derek's. Ryan's vision blurred, not with tears, but with a grief so sharp it felt like dying. He thought of their faces, their trust, their calls of Dad, and a sob broke free, raw and unstoppable. But then he straightened, wiping his face, his Marine Corps refusing to break. They're still mine, he whispered, the words a vow. He'd raised them, loved them, and no test could erase that. But Vanessa and Derek, they'd pay for this theft of his identity, his life. Hank's first report landed that night, emailed to a burner account Ryan set up. Vanessa had been visiting Derek's apartment above Cedar Hollow's hardware store 3 times a week, staying hours, leaving with cash-stuffed envelopes. Photos showed her slipping a key under Derek's mat, her smile smug. Worse, Hank uncovered financial trails. Vanessa had access to Ryan's construction firm accounts, signing off on consulting fees to a shell company linked to Derek. Over 2 years, they'd siphoned $80,000, funneled through fake invoices Ryan had trusted Vanessa to oversee. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was surgical, a calculated heist of his livelihood. Ryan sat in his workshop, the photo of last year's Jubilee now face down, and pored over bank records Hank provided. Each transaction was a stab, proof of Vanessa's greed and Derek's complicity, the man Ryan had mentored now bleeding him dry. At a neighborhood barbecue, Vanessa's boldness peaked. She toasted Derek for saving the library, her arm brushing his, while Cedar Hollow's residents clapped, blind to the affair. Ryan, flipping burgers, caught Derek's smirk, a silent claim on his family. He wanted to hurl the spatula, expose them, but Hank's warning echoed, "Build your case first." Ryan nodded at Derek, handing him a beer with a smile that hid a storm. Back home, Vanessa's phone buzzed late, and Ryan glimpsed a text from Derek. "He's blind. Keep him sweet." The audacity fueled Ryan's fire. He wasn't blind anymore. He installed a tracker on Vanessa's car, noting her library runs to Derek's. Each discovery sharpened his plan, a blueprint for justice taking shape. Ellie and Noah's laughter at dinner, their innocence anchored him. But Vanessa's smugness, her locket, her lies, pushed him closer to the edge. He wasn't just investigating, he was arming himself for war, ready to detonate their world at the right moment. Ryan Mitchell, his soul scarred by Vanessa's betrayal, and the DNA truth that Ellie and Noah weren't at his now wielded his pain as a blueprint for justice, crafting a plan to dismantle the life she'd built on lies. The 42-year-old architect, whose bridges defined Cedar Hollow's skyline, turned his precision to a silent siege, determined to strip Vanessa and Derek Sullivan of their smug empire. In his workshop on Maple Ridge Lane, surrounded by tools and the ghost of his former trust, Ryan pored over Hank Walsh's latest reports, each page a brick in the wall he was building around his betrayers. The $80,000 Vanessa and Derek had siphoned from his construction firm was just the start. Hank uncovered a second shell company, registered under Derek's cousin, funneling another $50,000 through padded contracts. Ryan's jaw tightened as he traced the transactions, each one a betrayal not just of him, but of the life he'd sweated to build. He wasn't just a husband anymore. He was a strategist, plotting a takedown that would echo through Cedar Hollow's gossip mills. Vanessa, emboldened by her unchallenged lies, grew reckless, her librarian facade a mockery as she planned Cedar Hollow's Winter Gala, a glittering event at the town hall where she'd shine as the community's darling. She flaunted her D-locket at a planning meeting, laughing with Derek about fundraising goals, their coded flirtations slicing Ryan, who attended as a supportive husband. "You're so quiet tonight," Vanessa teased, her hand on his arm, her eyes glinting with control. Ryan smiled, his voice smooth. "Just admiring your glow," he said, each word a calculated mask. Behind her back, he met with a lawyer, Sarah Klein, a sharp divorce attorney in Portland who specialized in asset protection. "She's planning to gut you," Sarah warned, reviewing Hank's evidence. "We'll gut her first." Ryan began transferring assets, their rental properties, his firm's equipment, even their savings, into a trust under his sister's name, predated to 2 years ago to dodge Vanessa's claims. He froze joint accounts, rerouting funds to a new account she couldn't touch, all while Vanessa shopped for a gala dress, oblivious. To keep her distracted, Ryan leaned into her fantasy of a doting husband. He gifted her a spa day, planned a romantic dinner at Cedar Hollow's Riverside Bistro, and even complimented her gala speech draft, each act a thread in the web he wove. Vanessa ate it up, her arrogance blinding her. "You're finally loosening up," she purred, unaware that Ryan had installed a hidden camera in their home office, capturing her late-night calls with Derek. One clip showed her laughing. "Ryan's so predictable. I'll file for divorce after the gala, take half and we'll be set." Derek's voice crackled. "Keep him soft. My lawyer says we're golden." Ryan replayed the footage in his truck, his knuckles white, the Marine in him itching to strike. Instead, he sent the video to Sarah, who added it to a growing dossier. Bank records, Hank's photos, audio clips, all ammunition for a divorce filing on grounds of infidelity and fraud. Cedar Hollow's community, still charmed by Vanessa's smile, amplified Ryan's isolation. At a PTA meeting, neighbors praised her tireless work, blind to the locket or her library runs to Derek's apartment. Derek, now a Gala co-chair, strutted at a town potluck, shaking Ryan's hand with a grin that screamed ownership. "Good to see you, man," Derek said, his arm brushing Vanessa's. Ryan clapped his shoulder, his smile a blade. "Always a pleasure," he replied, his eyes locking on Derek's, a silent vow of ruin. Hank's next report revealed Vanessa had opened a secret credit card, charging thousands for Gala expenses that traced to Derek's accounts. Ryan's firm accountant, tipped off, found more discrepancies. Vanessa had forged Ryan's signature on a loan for Derek's consulting work. The audacity fueled Ryan's fire, each lie a nail in their coffin. As the winter gala loomed, Ryan's plan crystallized. He'd expose Vanessa and Derek not in private, but on Cedar Hollow's grandest stage, where their lies would crumble before the town that worshipped them. He met Hank at a dive bar outside town, the PI sliding over a USB drive. "Got video of them at Derek's place, plus emails planning to sell your rental after divorce," Hank said. Ryan nodded, his face stone. "Enough to bury them?" Hank smirked. "Enough to bury a city." Back home, Vanessa twirled in her gala gown, asking Ryan how she looked. "Like a queen," he said, his voice soft, his mind mapping her fall. Ellie, watching, frowned. "Dad, you seem off," she said. Ryan hugged her, hiding his storm. "Just work, kiddo," he lied. His love for her and Noah the only anchor in his war. Vanessa's phone buzzed. Derek, again. She giggled, typing back, unaware Ryan had cloned her messages, each one a step closer to her ruin. He wasn't just planning revenge, he was orchestrating a reckoning, one that would burn brighter than Cedar Hollow's gala lights. Ryan Mitchell, armed with a fortress of evidence and a heart steeled by Vanessa's treachery, transformed into an actor in the final act of their crumbling marriage, orchestrating a performance so flawless it lulled Vanessa into a false sense of triumph. The 42-year-old engineer, whose hands once shaped Cedar Hollow's bridges, now shaped a trap, his every smile a calculated step toward exposing Vanessa and Derek Sullivan at the winter gala. In their Maple Ridge Lane home, where Ellie's piano notes and Noah's laughter once warmed the air, Ryan played the devoted husband with chilling precision. He brought Vanessa breakfast in bed, her favorite blueberry pancakes drizzled with honey, his eyes soft as he kissed her forehead. "You're spoiling me," Vanessa giggled, her D locket glinting under the morning light, a symbol of her betrayal Ryan now used as fuel. "You deserve it," he replied, voice warm. But his mind was a battlefield, mapping the gala where her lies would unravel before Cedar Hollow's adoring crowd. Vanessa, drunk on her perceived control, leaned into her role as the town's golden wife, her librarian charm a polished veneer over her venom. She spent days perfecting the winter gala, Cedar Hollow's grandest event, where twinkling lights and a string quartet would frame her as the community's heart. At a planning session in the town hall, she laughed with Derek, their hands brushing as they arranged centerpieces, their affair a poorly veiled secret Ryan pretended not to see. "You're so good at this," Derek murmured, loud enough for Ryan stacking chairs nearby to hear. Ryan flashed a grin. "She's a natural," he said, his tone light, but his grip on a chair tight enough to creak. Vanessa's confidence soared. She began dropping hints of her plans, telling a friend over wine at a book club, "After the gala, I'm ready for a fresh start." Ryan, clearing dishes in the kitchen, overheard, his pulse spiking but his face a mask of calm. Her words were a gift, confirmation she planned to blindside him with divorce, unaware he was steps ahead. To deepen her delusion, Ryan doubled his affection. He surprised Vanessa with a pearl bracelet, engraved with "Forever," mirroring their wedding vows, a gesture that made her eyes shine with smug satisfaction. "You're too good to me," she cooed, slipping it on, oblivious to the irony. He suggested a family movie night, cuddling with Ellie and Noah on the couch, Vanessa's arm around him, a lie he endured for the kids' sake. Ellie, perceptive, whispered, "Dad, you seem sad." Her hazel eyes searching his. Ryan squeezed her hand. "Just tired, sweetheart," he lied, his love for her and Noah a tether keeping him sane. Meanwhile, he worked in the shadows. He met Hank Walsh at a gas station outside town, the PI handing over a final USB video of Vanessa and Derek kissing in Derek's truck emails, plotting to claim Ryan's firm in the divorce, and a recorded call where Vanessa laughed, "He's so naive, he'll sign anything." Ryan's jaw clenched, but he nodded. This is it, he told Hank, pocketing the drive, his plan for the gala taking shape. A presentation, disguised as a community tribute, that would project their lies on a screen for all to see. Cedar Hollow's residents, still enchanted by Vanessa's glow, fueled Ryan's resolve with their blindness. At a neighborhood potluck, a neighbor gushed, "Vanessa's gala will be legendary," while Derek toasted her vision. Ryan, serving pie, caught Vanessa's smirk, her eyes daring him to crack. He didn't. Instead, he coordinated with Sarah Klein, his lawyer, to finalize the divorce papers, timed for post-gala filing to maximize Vanessa's ruin. He also rigged the gala's AV system with a tech friend, ensuring his evidence would play seamlessly. Vanessa's arrogance peaked. She left her phone unlocked one night, revealing a text to Derek. "Gala's my stage. Ryan's done after this." Ryan screenshot it, adding it to his arsenal, his marine discipline a steel cage around his fury. At a dress rehearsal, Vanessa twirled in her emerald gown, asking Ryan, "Will I steal the show?" He smiled. "You'll be unforgettable." His words a promise of her downfall. Noah, watching, tugged Ryan's sleeve. "Dad, why's Mom so happy?" Ryan knelt, hiding his storm. "She loves a big night," he said, his heart breaking for the kids but burning for justice. As the gala loomed, Ryan's act was airtight. He helped Vanessa hang decorations, praised her speech, and even danced with her in their living room, her laughter a knife he twisted back with every step. She believed she'd won, her divorce plans set, Derek's promises of a new life glittering like the gala's chandeliers. But Ryan was no pawn. He was a chess master, his every move. Pancakes, pearls, smiles. A checkmate in waiting. The winter gala would be her crown, but Ryan's stage, where Cedar Hollow would see the queen fall, her lies exposed in a blaze of truth that would outshine her deceit. The winter gala in Cedar Hollow's town hall glowed with elegance, its chandeliers casting a golden light over tables draped in velvet. But for Ryan Mitchell, it was the stage for a reckoning that would shatter Vanessa Taylor's carefully crafted lies. The 42-year-old engineer whose heart had endured the DNA truth, and Vanessa's $130,000 theft, stood in a tailored suit, his calm exterior hiding a storm ready to unleash. Months of planning, asset transfers, hidden cameras, Hank Walsh's damning evidence, culminated tonight, where Cedar Hollow's elite sipped champagne, oblivious to the bomb Ryan held. Vanessa, radiant in her emerald gown, floated through the crowd, her D-locket gleaming as she accepted praise for the gala's splendor. Derek Sullivan, co-chair in a smug tuxedo, shadowed her, their stolen glances a taunt Ryan had endured too long. The string quartet's melody masked the tension, but Ryan's pulse thundered, his marine discipline the only anchor as he prepared to expose the infidelity story that would rock the town. As the gala reached its peak, Vanessa took the stage, her speech lauding community spirit, while neighbors clapped, blind to her deceit. Ryan, stationed near the AV booth, nodded to his tech friend, who cued the presentation Ryan had disguised as a tribute to Cedar Hollow's heroes. The screen flickered, and Vanessa's smile faltered as her own voice filled the hall, a recorded call from Hank's USB. "Ryan's so naive, he'll sign anything." Gasps rippled through the crowd as the screen showed a video, Vanessa and Derek kissing in his truck, her laughter mocking Ryan's trust. "Those kids aren't his," she said, the DNA results flashing next. Paternity, 0% for Ellie and Noah. The room spun, Vanessa's face draining as emails appeared, detailing her, and Derek's plan to siphon $130,000 from Ryan's firm, followed by bank records of their shell companies. Cedar Hollow's residents, from PTA moms to the mayor, froze, their champagne glasses trembling as the cheating wife story unfolded in brutal clarity. Vanessa stammered, "This is a lie," her voice cracking, but Ryan stepped forward, his presence commanding. "You called me a fool, Vanessa," he said, voice steady but laced with rage. "You and Derek stole my life, my kids, my money, my trust." He turned to the crowd, his eyes burning. "She planned to divorce me tonight, take half, and run with him. But I'm not blind anymore." Derek bolted for the exit, but Hank, lurking by the door, blocked him, his PI badge glinting. "Not so fast," Hank growled, as neighbors whispered, "How could she?" And poor Ryan. Vanessa's emerald gown seemed to wilt as she clutched the podium, her charm shattered. "Ryan, please," she begged, tears streaking, but he held up a hand. "You're done," he said, dropping divorce papers on the stage, signed and dated, courtesy of Sarah Klein. The crowd's shock turned to murmurs, the town's golden couple now a scandal etched in their minds. The fallout was instant. Neighbors who'd praised Vanessa's tireless work now turned away, their faces a mix of pity and disgust. A PTA mom hissed, "She fooled us all," sparking gossip that would fuel Cedar Hollow's rumor mill for years. Derek, cornered by Hank, muttered excuses, but the mayor, a gala guest, promised an investigation into their fraud, his voice cold. Ryan stood tall, his speech a blade cutting through Vanessa's facade, but his heart ached for Ellie and Noah, safely at home with a sitter, unaware of the storm. He'd shielded them from tonight, but their faces, Ellie's stubborn frown, Noah's shy grin, flashed in his mind, a reminder of why he fought. Vanessa's sobs echoed as she fled the stage, her gown trailing like a fallen flag, her D-locket catching the light one last time. Ryan didn't follow. He'd won this battle, his truth a fire that burned away her lies, but the war for his family wasn't over. Cedar Hollow's winter gala, meant to celebrate unity, became the night Ryan Mitchell rewrote his story. The crowd's applause, hesitant at first, grew as he left the stage, a man no longer naive, but unbreakable. Vanessa's reign as the town's queen was dead, her infidelity story a cautionary tale whispered at every potluck. Derek's smugness crumbled under the weight of exposure, his exit a coward's retreat. Ryan walked to his truck, the cold Oregon air biting his face, and looked at the stars, feeling lighter, but not free. The gala's lights faded behind him, but the Reddit family drama he'd ignited would blaze on, a testament to a man who turned betrayal into justice, ready to face whatever came next for his kids and his heart. The Winter Gala's explosive reveal left Cedar Hollow, Oregon, a crucible for Vanessa Taylor's downfall. The fire Ryan Mitchell ignited, consuming her meticulously crafted facade. The 42-year-old engineer, scarred by the DNA truth and her $130,000 theft, stood amid the ashes of their 16-year marriage, victorious yet weighed by his love for Ellie and Noah. Vanessa, once the town's queen, became a pariah, her reputation dissolving faster than the gala's glow. Days later, the library fired her, citing unethical conduct after the kiss video and fraud evidence went viral. At the weekend farmer's market, eyes that once adored her now averted, neighbors whispering, "She fooled the whole town." A PTA mom, once her cheerleader, turned away, hissing, "Stay away from my kids." Vanessa, hair disheveled, dress rumpled, stood frozen, her D-locket now a mark of shame, no longer sparkling. Derek Sullivan, her accomplice, didn't escape. Cedar Hollow police arrested him 3 days post-gala, cuffing him outside his hardware store as Hank Walsh handed fraud evidence to authorities. Charges piled up: financial fraud, forging Ryan's signature, money laundering via shell companies. The mayor, once clapping at the gala, ordered a full probe, voice icy. No one's above the law. Derek, in orange jail garb, tried blaming Vanessa at a hearing, but his emails, plotting to sell Ryan's assets post-divorce, betrayed his denials. Cedar Hollow's residents, who'd welcomed Derek to barbecues, shunned him, his store boycotted, a for sale sign up within a week. Reddit family drama erupted, gossip spreading from coffee shops to PTA chats, turning the golden couple into a cautionary tale. Desperate, Vanessa sought Ryan at their Maple Ridge Lane home, pounding the door in a cold rain. "Ryan, please, let's talk," she sobbed, mascara streaking, but Ryan at the threshold, eyes steel. "You stole my family, Vanessa," he said, voice low. "What do you want now? Pity?" She sank to her knees, begging forgiveness, citing Ellie and Noah, but Ryan cut her off. "Don't use the kids to save yourself. They're why I didn't ruin you sooner." He shut the door, her cries blending with the rain, the Queen's image erased. Sarah Klein, Ryan's lawyer, filed for divorce, demanding full custody and financial restitution based on fraud. The court froze Vanessa's accounts, leaving her in a shabby rented apartment, stripped of her library glow or gala gowns. Cedar Hollow's community, once Vanessa's pedestal, judged without mercy. At the bakery, the owner refused service, saying, "We don't serve liars." Her book club disbanded, neighbors rerouted to avoid her house. Ryan, though victorious, felt no glee. That night, he sat with Ellie and Noah, explaining gently, "Mom and I won't live together, but I'll always love you." Ellie, eyes red, hugged him. "You're still Dad, right?" Ryan nodded, choked, "Always, kid." Noah, confused, clung to his hand, and Ryan vowed to shield them from Vanessa's lies. The pain lingered, 16 years of memories, Dad without blood, but his love for them was the fire keeping him upright. Ryan faced the town head high, but the gala left scars. Neighbors, guilty for their blindness, offered dinners, but he declined, needing time to heal. His firm, saved by timely asset transfers, survived, but Ryan worked less, prioritizing the kids. Derek faced up to 7 years in prison, assets seized, while Vanessa, bankrupt and alone, left Cedar Hollow weeks later, no goodbyes. Rumors said she lived in a cheap Portland motel, her former self a ghost in the town's memory. Ryan, in his workshop, looked at a photo of Ellie and Noah, Vanessa absent. He didn't relish her ruin but felt relief in truth. The infidelity story, now Cedar Hollow legend, warned of deceit's cost, and the man who turned betrayal into justice, ready to rebuild for his kids. In the quiet aftermath of Cedar Hollow's winter gala, where Ryan Mitchell's truth incinerated Vanessa Taylor's lies, the 42-year-old engineer stood at a crossroads, his heart a mosaic of scars and hope. The small town of Cedar Hollow, Oregon, once a stage for his betrayal, now offered a canvas for renewal, its gossip mill softened by respect for the man who turned pain into justice. Ryan's home on Maple Ridge Lane, stripped of Vanessa's presence, hummed with Ellie and Noah's laughter, their voices a lifeline pulling him from the wreckage of a 16-year marriage. The DNA truth, that they weren't his biologically, still stung, but every hug from Ellie, every blueprint Noah sketched, cemented his role as their father, blood be damned. Ryan vowed to rebuild, not just for himself but for them, crafting a life where trust could take root again. Spring arrived, painting Cedar Hollow's fields green, and Ryan found purpose in small moments. He coached Noah's soccer team, cheering from the sidelines as the boy scored, his shy grin a mirror of Ryan's own. Ellie, now 14, joined him in his workshop, sanding furniture with a focus that echoed his marine precision. One evening, as they worked, she asked, "Dad, how do you trust again after everything?" Her hazel eyes, so like his in spirit, searched his. Ryan paused, tool still, and said, "You start small, kiddo, with people who show up." He hugged her, his throat tight, knowing her question was his own. Their talks, raw and honest, became a ritual, stitching their bond tighter against the infidelity story that had nearly torn them apart. Cedar Hollow's community, once blind to Vanessa's deceit, now rallied around Ryan. At a school fundraiser, neighbors who'd shunned Vanessa offered casseroles and apologies, their guilt palpable. "We should have seen it," a PTA dad admitted, clapping Ryan's shoulder. Ryan nodded, accepting their warmth but guarding his heart. A new ally emerged in Lena Harper, a widowed teacher who'd moved to town post-Gala. Her sharp wit and quiet strength drew Ryan in, their coffee chats at the diner evolving into a cautious friendship. "You're stronger than you know," Lena told him one morning, her smile steady. Ryan didn't flirt. He wasn't ready. But her words planted a seed of possibility, a flicker of life beyond revenge stories. Vanessa's shadow lingered faintly. Rumors trickled in. She lived in a Portland motel, working odd jobs, her librarian charm a faded memory. A letter arrived, her handwriting shaky, begging to see Ellie and Noah. Ryan read it in his workshop, the photo of his kids nearby, and felt no pity, only resolve. "Not yet," he told Sarah Klein, his lawyer, who'd secured full custody. "They need stability, not her chaos." Derek Sullivan's fate was sealed. Convicted of fraud, he faced 5 years in prison, his hardware store sold to cover fines. Cedar Hollow's gossip painted him a villain, his name a curse at potlucks. while Ryan's quiet dignity earned nods of respect. Ryan's firm thrived, new contracts flooding in as his story spread, a man who outsmarted betrayal. He worked less, though, prioritizing school plays and soccer games. His kids' laughter his true currency. At a town barbecue, the mayor toasted Ryan, calling him Cedar Hollow's backbone, a far cry from the naive fool Vanessa mocked. Ryan raised his glass, his smile genuine but tempered by scars. Late that night in his workshop, he carved a wooden bridge for Noah's school project, each cut a metaphor for his journey, breaking, then building anew. Ellie joined him, sketching beside him, and said, "We're okay, Dad, right?" Ryan looked at her, then Noah asleep on the couch, and nodded. "We're more than okay," he said, his voice firm. Cedar Hollow, once a crucible of pain, became Ryan's proving ground. The Reddit family drama of Vanessa's fall faded, replaced by tales of Ryan's resilience. He didn't seek love or glory, only peace for his kids and himself. Lena's laughter at a diner, Ellie's sketches, Noah's goals, they were his rebirth, a life forged from ruin. The stars over Maple Ridge Lane shone brighter now, and Ryan, no longer defined by betrayal, stepped into a future where hope outshone the ashes of his past. In the gentle hum of Cedar Hollow, Oregon, a year after Ryan Mitchell's seismic truth unraveled Vanessa Taylor's betrayal, the 43-year-old engineer had become more than a survivor. He was a beacon, his legacy etched into the town's heart. The small-town streets of Cedar Hollow, once shadowed by the scandal of a cheating wife story, now buzzed with tales of Ryan's resilience, a man who turned an infidelity story into a testament of strength. His home on Maple Ridge Lane, warmed by Ellie and Noah's chatter, stood as a fortress of love, its walls no longer echoing Vanessa's lies. Ryan, once shattered by the DNA truth in her $130,000 theft, now walked taller, his marine grit forging a path where hope outshone pain, his story a Reddit family drama turned legend. Cedar Hollow honored Ryan in quiet but profound ways. At the town's annual Harvest Fair, the mayor presented him with a Community Spirit Award, a polished plaque for unwavering integrity. The crowd, packed with neighbors who'd once praised Vanessa, cheered, their applause a balm to Ryan's scars. "You showed us what truth means," the mayor said, shaking his hand. Ryan, in a flannel shirt, smiled humbly, his thoughts on Ellie and Noah, watching from the front row. Ellie, now 15, clapped fiercely, her pride a mirror of his resolve, while Noah, gripping a soccer ball, beamed. Later, at the fair's bonfire, neighbors shared stories of Ryan's kindness, coaching kids, fixing a widow's porch, cementing his place as Cedar Hollow's backbone, a far cry from the fool Vanessa mocked. Ellie and Noah's growth was Ryan's true legacy. In their living room over pizza nights, they tackled the wounds Vanessa left. Ellie, grappling with her mother's absence, asked, "Why'd she lie, Dad?" Ryan, heart heavy, knelt beside her. "Some people lose their way, but you're not her choices," he said, his voice steady. Noah, quieter, admitted, "I miss her sometimes." Ryan hugged him. "That's okay, buddy. We hold the good, leave the bad." These talks, raw and healing, shaped them. Ellie's sketches now bolder, Noah's soccer plays fiercer. When a school counselor suggested therapy, Ryan agreed, joining sessions to ensure his kids faced their pain, not buried it. A commitment that deepened their trust, a shield against the Reddit cheating stories' sting. Lena Harper, the teacher who'd become Ryan's friend, grew closer, her presence a soft light in his life. Over diner coffee, she shared her own scars, a lost husband, a rebuilt life, her strength mirroring Ryan's. One evening, at a town dance, Lena pulled him onto the floor, her laugh easing his guard. "You're allowed to live, Ryan," she said, her hand warm in his. He didn't confess love, not yet, but their slow dance under Cedar Hollow's fairy lights felt like a promise, a step beyond revenge stories toward something new. Neighbors noticed, their smiles approving, whispering of a man deserving happiness after a cheating revenge story's toll. Vanessa's ghost flickered briefly. A rumor reached Ryan. She'd been seen in Portland, gaunt, working at a gas station, her D locket gone. She sent no more letters, her silence a final surrender. Derek Sullivan, serving his sentence, faded from Cedar Hollow's memory, his store now a cafe, erasing his mark. Ryan, in his workshop, carved a bookshelf for Ellie's room, each stroke a release of past pain. The town's gossip, once venomous, turned reflective, its PTA moms and diner regulars citing Ryan's stand as a lesson, truth over deceit. At a soccer game, Noah scored, and Ryan's cheer echoed, his joy untainted by Vanessa's shadow. Cedar Hollow, reborn from scandal, thrived under Ryan's influence. He spoke at a school assembly, urging kids to choose honesty, even when it hurts, his words rippling beyond the gym. Ellie, inspired, led a mural project, painting Cedar Hollow's bridge, Ryan's design, on the town hall, a symbol of connection. Noah, braver, joined the debate team, his voice steady. Lena, by Ryan's side at the mural's unveiling, squeezed his arm, her eyes warm. Ryan looked at his kids, the town, the stars over Maple Ridge Lane, and felt peace. His legacy wasn't vengeance but truth, a life rebuilt, a family whole, a community stronger. The infidelity story that broke him now fueled a dawn of hope, shining brighter than Cedar Hollow's darkest nights. 2 years after Ryan Mitchell's truth dismantled Vanessa Taylor's web of lies in Cedar Hollow, Oregon, the 44-year-old engineer stood on the cusp of a future unshackled from betrayal. The small town, once a crucible for his pain, now bloomed with possibility, its streets lined with pride for the man whose resilience turned a cheating wife story into a saga of triumph. Ryan's home on Maple Ridge Lane, alive with Ellie and Noah's dreams, was a sanctuary where the scars of an infidelity story faded under the warmth of family. The DNA truth and Vanessa's $130,000 theft were distant echoes, drowned by Ryan's laughter as he built a life defined not by revenge but by love. A Reddit family drama now a beacon of hope. Ryan's budding romance with Lena Harper, the teacher who'd steadied him, took root with cautious joy. At Cedar Hollow's Riverside Bistro, their first official date unfolded, Ryan in a pressed shirt, Lena's eyes sparkling over candlelight. "I'm not great at this," he admitted, his marine stoicism cracking as he fumbled with his fork. Lena laughed, touching his hand. "You're doing fine, Ryan. Just be you." Their talk wove through kids, loss, and dreams, her warmth easing the weight of his past. They walked home under stars, her shoulder brushing his, a quiet promise of more. Neighbors, spotting them, smiled, their whispers no longer of cheating revenge stories but of a man reclaiming joy. Ryan didn't rush, he savored each moment, his heart, once a battlefield, now a garden. Ellie and Noah's growth lit Ryan's path. Ellie, 16, unveiled her first art show at the town library, her paintings vibrant with Cedar Hollow's bridges and skies, a nod to Ryan's designs. At the opening, she hugged him, whispering, "You taught me to keep going." Ryan's eyes misted, pride swelling as neighbors applauded her talent. Noah, now 12, took on captaincy of his soccer team, his leadership bold yet kind, echoing Ryan's strength. After a winning game, Noah ran to Ryan saying, "I want to be like you, Dad." Ryan knelt, voice thick. "You're already better, kid." Their milestones, from Ellie's brushstrokes to Noah's goals, were Ryan's redemption, proof that love outlasted the Reddit cheating story's pain. Cedar Hollow thrived, its spirit lifted by Ryan's influence. He led a community project, a new park along the Willow River, funded by his firm's success. At the groundbreaking, the mayor called Ryan our bridge builder, a nod to his literal and figurative work. Neighbors volunteered, their unity a far cry from the gossip that fueled Vanessa's fall. The park, with swings for kids and benches for stories, became a symbol of renewal, its plaque reading "For Cedar Hollow's heart." Ryan, hammering posts, felt the town's pulse. His legacy no longer just a cheating revenge story, but a foundation for growth. A diner regular toasted him, saying, "You made us better." And Ryan nodded, his smile free of shadows. Vanessa's trace was faint. A neighbor mentioned seeing her in Portland, serving coffee, her face lined, her D-locket absent. She'd sent Ellie a birthday card, unsigned, which Ryan let her keep but didn't discuss. "She's gone," Ellie said, her voice firm, and Ryan respected her closure. Derek Sullivan, nearing his 3rd year in prison, was a forgotten name. His store's cafe now a town favorite. Ryan, in his workshop, crafted a birdhouse with Noah, each nail a step away from pain. The town's gossip, once venomous, now celebrated Ryan's journey, PTA moms and barbers citing his courage as a lesson in truth. At the park's opening, Ryan stood with Lena, Ellie, and Noah, the Willow River glinting behind them. Lena squeezed his hand, her presence a steady anchor. Ellie unveiled a mural on the park's pavilion, depicting Cedar Hollow's rebirth, her art a mirror of Ryan's heart. Noah kicked a soccer ball with friends, his laughter free. Ryan spoke briefly, thanking the town, his voice clear. We build futures by choosing truth. The crowd cheered, their respect a crown he wore lightly. Under Cedar Hollow's stars, Ryan felt whole, not just a survivor but a creator of a life where love, family, and community outshone the infidelity story's ashes. His future wide open sparkled with possibility, a testament to a man who turned betrayal into a legacy of light.